everybody, and welcome to the Understanding Behavior live stream. We've got a good one tonight. We are talking measurement. It's also a special month since we are in the month where we released the Understanding Behavior Beastslayer course. We will be giving away a Beastslayer course today. I see some people in chat are already excited about this giveaway. It's a cool one because it's a high value product here. Right now the Beastslayer course costs $250 and it's going up to $325 on May 1st. So pretty awesome stuff. Huge win tonight for whoever gets that. We've got Alyssa Rampino in chat. She just passed her BCBA exam. Let's give a shout out to Alyssa. Yay! I'm so happy for you. I was so excited when I saw that. It was so cool. How's everybody else doing tonight? Woo, 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 woo. It's crazy. We've had so many people pass this week. We've been like overwhelmed on the Power Preppers group. Just so many people passing. It's so cool. So if you are not quite there yet, then don't worry. You're in the right place to get that soon. Anyway, the Beastslayer course is pretty amazing. We have some early access offers going right now. So I discussed already, we've got $75 off the price. You also get 2 additional months access. So if you buy it right now, you get 8 months of access. So you pretty much get it till the end of the year, which is pretty cool. As much time as you need, even if you don't pass your exam. Additionally, the Beastslayer course, it comes with a free product. So you can either get Beat the Beast 1, 2, or the Fluency package absolutely free with the purchase of the early access version of the Beastslayer. All you have to do is add those into your cart and it will just take it off for free. If you'd rather just get a discounted price on the Beastslayer, you can use the code UBNerd to get 15% off. That does not stack with the free product, but if you just want to get the cheaper version of the course, then it's a good option as well. Yay, Maddie's saying her non-vocal kid used his AAC device appropriately for the first time today. That's awesome. Hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, we'll give away a copy of our Beastslayer course today. It is pretty amazing. There is so much content in this course. We don't even have it all released yet, but here's like half the course out, and here's how much content it comes with. Everything's broken up into like these smaller bite-sized videos. Most of them are like in the 5 to 20 minute range, which is really cool. So if you just want to like brush up real quick and a little bit of studying, there's the option to do that. It also teaches you literally everything you need, and it's going to help you set a really strong foundation for being a good behavior analyst. With all of these videos, there's also a bunch of quizzes mixed in to help you refine the topics that you know. Yeah, Emily E saying that she's loving it so far. Has anybody else picked up the Beastslayer yet? I'm curious how you've been enjoying it so far. So right now we are in an early access version. We're still releasing some of the content. Tomorrow we're going to have another content drop, and then by the end of next week we'll have everything dropped. So you'll have everything that you need. But honestly, like I don't think you can really get through all this content in a week anyway, unless you go really hard on it. So plenty of content to hold you over until the rest of it is released. Sweet. Yeah, Katarina's about to. I love it. Mr. Music too. Yay, 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 yay. Nice. Taylor's been loving it. Heather's been loving it. Hallie's been loving it too. Yeah, this product, this course is like literally my baby. I put so much of blood, sweat, and tears into all of this to get it ready for you guys, and I'm so excited that you guys are out there enjoying it so far. Yay! Perfect. But yeah, we'll give away a copy of that course today. The more likes we get on this video, the faster we'll get it away. It's the course right now, the early access version is $250. This price is going up on May 1st, up to $325. Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much overlap in B and G. Definitely like worth combining. So I kind of like, so I broke it down instead of like just doing B and G, I broke it down into basic concepts and then more advanced concepts. I think it just kind of made a little bit more sense to do it that way. So I'm glad that you've been digging that. For sure, for sure. All right. Cool beans. Well, today's topic, we are going over measurement. I feel like nobody really teaches measurement, right? So I'm here to tell you like the real good goods here. Let's start off and talk about why measurement is important. So measurement's super important because it adds objectivity to psychology. A lot of other forms of psychology do not really take data on if behavior's changing or not. So what's really cool about behavior analysis and why we use measurement is just it adds some really some objectivity. We can track very clearly, like, are things changing? Is our intervention working? Measurement also allows us to have a lot more clarity for what the target behavior is that we're changing, and it very specifically identifies, like, okay, what is the behavior and what is not the behavior. Measurement also allows us to analyze the progress of behavior. So if we don't measure behavior, we don't really know if it's changing or not, but when we do measure behavior, we can track those changes. Cool, Courtney's testing Tuesday. Good luck, Courtney. All right, so let's talk about how do we pick our measurement procedures. There's two main things that you want to focus on when picking our measurement procedures. The first thing is measurement validity. Measurement validity refers to, does the measurement capture a relevant dimension of the behavior for change? So focus on this term here, relevant dimension. So track, like, what is the goal that we're trying to change? What is the goal that we're trying to change about the behavior? And does this measurement procedure actually capture it? A lot of behaviors are going to have multiple measurement procedures that are valid here. That's why we also need to consider the ability of our data collector. We can ask ourselves, can the data collector reasonably take accurate data given all of their other responsibilities? When we can, we want to take our more complete measurement systems, but if it's going to make it impossible for the data collector to track, then we can use discontinuous measurements, which take a little bit less complete data, but still useful enough data for analysis. All right, let's start you guys off with a warm-up question and see how you do. We have Clark as a 3-year-old with autism who has frequent episodes of screaming. During the assessment, mom reported that sometimes he only screams for a few seconds, but usually an episode will last anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. In your own observations as a BCBA, your data matched mom's report. Which of the following measurements would be invalid for this behavior when used alone? Let's see. What do you guys got? So remember, valid means, does it capture a relevant dimension of the behavior? This question is asking about which of these is invalid for this behavior. Tricky, tricky. If you like questions in this type of format too, make sure you are following on Facebook and Instagram, where we post these questions daily. We even give you a difficulty rating for them. I'd say this one's on the medium range. If you really want to get the most out of your learning experience here, let's see a rationale for your answer. That rationale is going to make all the difference, whether you're confident or not. Explain why, and the feedback is going to be extremely helpful. We've got 92 people here, but only 35 likes on the video. Like I said, the more likes we get, the sooner we'll give away that Beastslayer course, which means the better chance that you'll have at winning it. So it's definitely in your favor to hit that thumbs up button and like the video. All right, like Harmony and Candace have some rationales here. Katarina's got a rationale too. I'd like to see it. Cool. Shauna and Jenny are in the Cool Rationale Club. Thanks for everybody hitting that like button now. We're almost up to 50 now. Looking way better. Okay, I like how Erin's kind of like thinking through that situation with her rationale. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, this is a tricky one for sure, Mr. Music. That's why we're here. We're going to nail these down for ya. Yeah, so there's only one correct answer here. That's why that rationale is super important. Which one's the most correct for it being invalid? Ooh, Maddie, I like where you're going there with your rationale. That looks pretty cool. All right. Any other thoughts on this one? Ooh, Amy SR. Very succinct. I love that. Yeah, Sean, that looks great too. All right. Yeah, totally okay if you don't know. Give it your best guess, even if you don't. Yeah, Aiden, you're right on time. Don't worry. Okay, our best answer for this one is going to be A, rate. So let's go ahead and look at why rate is the most correct answer. So the question was asking about which one is invalid when used alone. So which one is not going to capture this behavior very well. Looking at the feature of this behavior, sometimes he only screams for a few seconds, but sometimes he screams for 5 to 30 minutes. So we have a range of like 2 seconds to 30 minutes long per instance. This means that this behavior varies in duration very significantly. So if I reported rate, let's say that there was three episodes of screaming within an hour. Like, that doesn't tell us the right information. It doesn't tell us, hey, was that like 10 seconds of screaming, or was that like an hour of screaming the whole time? And if we only know the rate, it doesn't tell us enough information, so it doesn't capture a relevant dimension about the behavior. The rest of these would do so. So duration tells us how long the behavior occurs. This is probably the best one. Partial interval recording gives us an estimation of time about how much that occurs. And momentary time sampling also does that, but it only checks the end moment, so it might not be quite as great, but it is possible to use because this behavior can last for a very long time, which makes this a valid measurement procedure. So rate is going to be the best answer for invalid on this one. If you struggle with that, we're gonna go over what each measurement procedure is valid for, so pay attention and we'll nail these down together. All right, let's start off by talking about the difference between continuous measurements and discontinuous measurements. So continuous measurements, they capture all of our relevant data, and they require constant observation, and overall they provide a more complete data set. So when we can, we want to try to use continuous measurements when possible, but it's not always going to be possible, and discontinuous measurements can make our job much easier. Discontinuous measurements, on the other hand, they estimate our data through interval recording. The main purpose is that they're going to ease the job for the trained data collector. Lastly, discontinuous measurements create what's called a measurement artifact, which is a misrepresentation of the data due to how it's collected. We'll talk about that when we get into the discontinuous measurements. Yay, Aiden, I'm so glad. Yeah, the Beat the Beast mocks, those mock exams do not mess around on these measurement questions, but everything that you need to be successful on those questions is in this presentation. So if you struggled on that section, you're not alone. You're in the right place to recover from it. All right, 105 people here, 57 likes. I mean, it's pretty good, but we can see a few more likes here. I don't have any mnemonics for remembering continuous and discontinuous, but I feel like if you know the measurement procedures, it kind of makes sense. The discontinuous are all the interval recordings, so I don't think you really need a mnemonic. Okay, let's talk about continuous measurement. So we've got 5 main different kinds. We've got our different types of event recording. This is frequency. We'll just briefly go through definitions. You guys probably are familiar with these for now. Frequency is the number of times a behavior occurs. Rate is when we have a number of times a behavior occurs over a single unit of time. Then we have our time-based measurements. These are duration. Duration is the time from the beginning to the end of a response. Latency, this is the time from the onset of a stimulus and the start of the behavior. One thing I want to highlight about this definition, it's the onset of a stimulus, not necessarily an SD. So it could be a different type of stimulus, such as a prompt or a rule or a motivating operation. The inner response time, this is the time from the end of one behavior and the start of the next. So looking at the time between the behaviors. All right, just catching up on chat for 1 sec here. Danielle, we'll get to those. Let's just listen to the information. Hopefully that'll answer your question. Misty, you should have added that to your cart, but send me an email and I'll get you hooked up with that. Yeah, so Aiden's asking, like, could a fire alarm be a stimulus for latency? Yeah, absolutely. So that would be like a motivating operation. We're not going to go over the question from today, but Crystal will drop the feedback into the Instagram post later on. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's talk about dimensional qualities. So dimensional qualities are kind of like features of the different measurement procedures. Hey, Emily, good to see you here. So yeah, essentially a dimensional quality is a characteristic of a measurement procedure. We've got 3 main ones. So we have repeatability, refers to countability of the measurement procedure. Temporal extent. This word temporal refers to time. When we're looking at extent, we're looking at like how long. And temporal locus, once again, we have that word temporal. It means time. Locus means like where in time. So what specific point in time. The way that I like to remember temporal locus is like a locust swarm. It's like locust swarm like will surround an organism. And so when we look at locus, we're looking at time surrounding behavior. All right, so let's go ahead and look at each of our continuous measurement procedures and label which dimensional qualities relate to each of them. First up, we have frequency. So there could be one or more dimensional qualities that relate to each of these. Starting with frequency, which dimensional quality relates here? Yeah, the content in these streams, there's some overlap with these in the Beastslayer course. The Beastslayer course is going to have a little bit more extensive videos. The course also has different examples overall too. So they'll have different questions to test you on. There can be 2 answers for these as well. Yep. All right, answer's looking good. For frequency, we are going to have repeatability as our only dimensional quality that relates. So we're looking at countability of the behavior. All right, how about for rate? Which dimensional qualities relate to rate? So this one, it could be one answer, it could be more than one answer. All right, we're a little bit mixed on this one. We got a lot of A's, a lot of A's and B's, couple A's and C's, couple B's and C's. We are all over the place here. I like Maddie and Aiden are keeping up with rationales there. Looking good. All right, yeah, these are tricky, guys. Our answer for rate is going to be A. We have repeatability since we have the countability of the behavior, but we also have C, temporal locus. So temporal locus, we're looking at time surrounding behavior. So if we say like 5 times in an hour, then we have time surrounding those 5 instances of behavior. So temporal locus is going to be our best answer for that one as well. Tricky, tricky. All right, how about duration? Which quality or qualities relates to duration? Yeah, again, I really like the locust comparison. We're looking at time surrounding behavior for that one. Cool, yeah, answer's looking great here. Love the rationales. Courtney, Maddie, Aiden looks really great. Good job, Selena. Rate doesn't include temporal extent because it's not looking at how long each instance is. So like an instance that lasts 1 second versus one that lasts a minute are counted the same. Okay, our best answer for duration is going to be B, temporal extent. So we're looking at how long the behavior occurs for. Looks good, looks good. Amanda's got a funny connection there. ED, so like temporal extent and duration. Looking at how long it is. Dick jokes. Okay, how about latency? Which quality or qualities relate to latency? Yeah, when you're looking at frequency, usually like the observation duration should be noted. So like, hey, I was there for 5 hours and it occurred 10 times or whatever. All right, a little mix on this one, but overall looking pretty good. Okay. Best answer for this one is going to be C, temporal locus. So once again, we're looking at time surrounding behavior. So it's the time from a stimulus to the beginning of the response. We're not looking at the time of the behavior. That would be with temporal extent. But we're looking at the time surrounding behavior. Okay, last one here. We've got inner response time. Which dimensional quality or qualities relate to inner response time? Nice, Mr. Music. I'm glad you're liking it. Lots to learn here. Measurement is tough. And like I said, if you've taken measurement on the Beat the Beast mocks or the mini mocks, those questions, they don't mess around. You really got to know your shit to get those right. Yeah, temporal locus, one more time, is we're looking at time surrounding behavior. So not necessarily time of the behavior, but we're measuring time around the behavior. So rate had that because it's like instances over a period of time. So like 5 per hour. We have time surrounding the behavior. Latency, we had that from onset of a stimulus to the start of the behavior. Again, we're looking at time surrounding behavior. Ooh, yeah, Jillian, I like where your rationale's going there. That's cool. Ooh, yeah, Selena's onto something there. Yeah, Aiden, I like your rationale. It doesn't quite match your answers, though. All right. The first one that relates to inner response time is going to be C, temporal locus. We're looking at the time surrounding behaviors because we're looking at the time in between the behaviors. But there's also a second one. This is also going to be repeatability because there's a clear relationship between frequency and IRTs. We'll talk a little bit more about this later, but you can kind of do this with like a quick finger trick. Like, let's say I have 4 fingers up and each finger is an instance of the behavior. Now, if I'm looking at how many IRTs I have, there's 3 spots or 3 gaps in between these 4 behaviors. So a nice little formula for IRT is if we have a number of IRTs plus 1 equals frequency. So again, we can kind of do that with a finger trick. I've got 4 instances of behavior, but there's 3 IRTs. So 3 plus 1 gets us to 4. I know this stuff is hard, crew, but hey, you got to go through a little struggle to learn. A failure, this is the perfect place to fail because you're in a safe, comfortable place. Everybody's here. We're all cool. We're all learning. So that's great. Yeah, go for that Beastslayer course. Oh, we've got another passer in here. Christina Glasgow just passed her exam. Let's wish Christina some congratulations. That's amazing. Woo, 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 woo. We love to see it. There's been so many passers this week. It just like lights me up every time we see students pass. Love it, love it, love it. I'm also looking at our stream numbers. It looks like we got to our magic number of 69 likes on our video. So, how about we go ahead and do that Beastslayer giveaway now? I mean, should we do the warm-up giveaway or should we do a Beastslayer giveaway? I think we're ready for the Beastslayer. And we might do a second giveaway later because this is pretty early. But yeah, let's do the good one first. Let's have some fun. All right, yeah, I think we'll do a second giveaway later. But if we get more likes, but we've got a lot of likes on the video, so still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. If you already have the Beastslayer course, don't participate in this one, but we'll do a different giveaway later, so you can participate in that one. But we want this to be juicy. So if you don't have the Beastslayer, then participate in it and have a shot at it. All right, how about we're gonna do a random 1 to 600, and whoever is closest is gonna win the Beastslayer. We only have one winner for this. One guess per person. Multiple guesses will be disqualified. Any number between 1 and 600 will randomly generate it. And whoever is closest will be our winner. Maddie, that would be so fun. But keep the likes coming on the video. We're at 74 now. That's pretty solid. But I mean, if we get to my next checkpoint, then we'll do a second giveaway for something juicy too. One guess per person. Let's see it. closest number will be our winner. If we have a tie, we'll do a roll-off. Ooh, Kendall, that's way too many numbers. You're disqualified. A roll-off is like a showdown. We'll pick a second number with only the two people who are closest. Okay, last call for numbers. Yeah, sorry, Kendall. I gotta play it by the rules. Okay, we're gonna make Dulce be our last guess here. Here we go. Let's generate it. We've got 93. Okay, kind of a low one. 93, 93. Who's closest? Help me out here in chat, guys. 93. Okay, I see a 78. Oh, I see an 84. Damn it, you already have the course. 93. I think Tammy won. Oh, wait, who? Wait. Help me out here in chat, guys. 93. Who's closest? We've got Amanda 111. That's 18 off. Okay, that's kind of close. Was anybody in like the hundreds? Oh, Kendall has one. No, Kendall had like 8 guesses though. She was disqualified. Okay, let me do some math. We had Tammy was 84, but Tammy already has the course. so oh, okay. Tammy wants to give it to her daughter. I think I might go for that. I know your daughter's studying too. All right, we're gonna give it to Tammy's daughter, I guess. All right. Congratulations for Tammy's daughter wins on the Beastslayer course. That's pretty cool. I do like that. I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Perfect. She gave you the number too. Okay. No, Tammy had 84. So Tammy was 9 away, and then Amanda was 18 away. But close though. So close. All right, congratulations, Tammy. Get your daughter, shoot me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com, and we'll hook your daughter up with the Beastslayer course. Congratulations. Have fun. All right. We'll keep those likes coming on the video. We'll probably do another giveaway later. So keep them coming. That was fun. Congratulations. Next week we'll do another Beastslayer giveaway. We're doing a Beastslayer giveaway every week in this month. And after that, we probably won't do as many. We'll probably do like one a month or so. But make sure you capitalize on that early access offer. You get $75 off, 2 additional months access, and a free mock exam with the purchase. That offer expires on May 1st, and the price is going up. So definitely capitalize on the early offer for Beastslayer if you're interested. I really think it's the best. It's the best course out there. I think it's the best way to learn behavior analysis, and I might sound a little arrogant with that, but I'm pretty confident it's the best thing out there. Yeah, I love that, Aiden. Yeah, not biased at all. It's funny, I was like just recording ethics videos about like biases. I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe a little biased. All right, let's go ahead and talk about frequency and rate. So you guys know the definitions of these pretty well. Frequency is the number of times a behavior occurs, but more importantly is looking at the utility behind these. These are like the situations where it's most valid for. So frequency and rate are both good for behaviors that last about the same duration per instance. So like if we think about like a punch, like each punch lasts 1 second. So punch is a good thing to use frequency or rate for. We saw in the question earlier where we had the screaming episodes where it could be like anywhere from a few seconds to 30 minutes long. That would not be a great behavior to use it for because the duration varies so significantly across our instances. For frequency in particular, it's best for use for trying to capture the total number of a behavior as opposed to speed of the behavior. And we can also use frequency if the observation period is always the same duration. So for example, if we're always doing like a 10-minute observation, we can look at the frequency for that and the numbers still stay comparable. Let's look at rate. So rate is the number of times a behavior occurs over a single unit of time. So this would be like per minute, per day, per hour, etc. It's also good for behaviors that last about the same duration per instance. So they're all like each instance of the behavior lasts the same amount. It's best used to look at speed of the behavior. So instead of looking at total number of the behavior, it's looking at like how fast the behavior is occurring. And if we have observations if we have observation periods that differ in duration, we want to use rate over frequency to equalize that unit out. So for example, like if I have a session that's like sometimes 30 minutes and sometimes 45 minutes, I would want to use rate instead of frequency there because I'm going to get like the per hour or per minute calculation. And it makes our data comparable to each other. Versus if I were just to get the frequency of 30 versus 45 minutes, then we have that differing variable. It's like, oh, you observe for longer here. So now these numbers aren't really directly comparable to each other. Okay, frequency and rate, I think, really get underestimated. So we're going to do some questions that are just frequency or rate. Let's go ahead and check these out. So first one, Johnny asks how many hot dogs you ate at the 4th of July party. Should we use frequency or rate for this? The formula for rate is essentially just like you want to get it over a single unit of time. So if you have like a 30-minute session, you want the per hour, then you would multiply it by 2 to get the per hour, to get the 30 minutes to be 1 hour. If you want to get to the per minute, then you would divide by 30. Cool, yeah, Selena, I love your rationale there. Good. Yeah, usually if we're only looking at one observation period, frequency is going to be the way to go. Oh, yeah, I love that, Emily. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, Aiden, it could be like per week or per month, too. Totally fine, as long as it's a single unit of time. So I could be like, I went on 8 bike rides, like 8 bike rides a month or something. Like average 8 bike rides a month. That's totally fine. That's okay, Mr. Music. You'll get it down. All right, best answer here is going to be frequency. We're looking at the total number, and we only have this one observation period. We've got the one 4th of July party. So be like, hey, I ate 16 hot dogs there. That's like ridiculous. All right, Joey Chestnut compares how quickly he eats hot dogs across different competition durations. Is this going to be frequency or rate as best measurement here? Awesome. Yeah, rationale's looking good here. Maddie, Kendall looks good. Yeah, I like the terms you guys are using. Different observation periods. Cool. Rock on, rock on. Looking great. This one is going to be rate because we're looking at how much occurs, and then the observation periods are different. So the competitions have different durations, making rate the better measurement. Awesome. How about this next one? Heather wants to track instances of aggression across ABA sessions. Should we use frequency or rate for this one? What do you think? Kendall, it's unclear what graph you would use. Probably a line graph would be fine. Ooh, we're split on this one. Half frequency, half rate so far. Ooh, Selena, I like your rationale. You're slaying these tonight. She's like already a Beastslayer. Yeah, Jillian looks good too. Great rationale. Aiden, stick with the info you got. All right, loving all the rationale starting to come through on these. Excellent job, crew. Love the effort. All right, best answer here is going to be rate. We're going to use rate because we're doing across our ABA sessions. And even if we want every ABA session to be the same duration, like let's say we schedule 2 hours for every session, it's just not likely that we're going to actually have exactly 2 hours in each session. Like either the RBT could get late, the client could be late, there could be other things that mess with the session. So it's better to just use rate. Rate is a better default when we don't know if the observation periods are going to differ. But usually for ABA sessions, like there's going to be times where we just have to cut it short and times where this is going to vary. So let's go ahead and plan ahead for that and use rate. All right, that was a tricky one, but I love to see all the effort here. Okay, how about this next one? Bethany wants to track how many flashcards she can answer accurately in 2 minutes. Should we use frequency or rate for this one? Yeah, Katarina, if you were to use rate and duration, that'd probably be good. You might even use a discontinuous measurement if that's too cumbersome, though. All right. Oh, we're a little mixed on this one, too. Okay, yeah, a lot of I'd love to see the rationales coming through. We're a little mixed, though. Okay. Let's look dead even frequency and rate here. I told you, these are not, like, these are very easy to underestimate. Okay, yeah, Shauna and Julia, I like your rationales. Yeah, Trisha, that looks good. All right. Let's go ahead and review this one. We would use frequency in this answer. The reason why we'd use frequency is because the observation period is always the same. It's always 2 minutes. So we can use frequency because the observation period is always the same, so our data are comparable to each other. Yeah, if you got that and you've nailed that rationale, I saw a lot of really good rationales in there. Give yourself a huge pat on the back. But again, the main thing you want to look at here is how long that observation period is. Is it always the same? We can use frequency. If there's only one observation period, like the 4th of July party, we can also use frequency. But when that varies, we want to use rate. So really focus on the observation period duration and how much it varies. Yeah, Kendall, that's a good rule for sure. All right, last one. Charlie wants to track spontaneous vocalizations across sessions for Billy. Should we use frequency or rate? Yeah, Mr. Music, we talked about that earlier. I would just use rate for those ABA sessions just because even if you schedule 2 hours, it's so unlikely every single session's going to be 2 hours. So we may as well just plan ahead and use rate. You can't interchange rate with amount of time, no. Rate is like equalizing your unit of time. All right, similar to our other one where we're looking at the ABA sessions, we're going to use rate for this one just because there's probably going to be some natural variation in the duration of those sessions. Like mom could pick up early one day. We could like the kid gets sick and we have to end early one day. So better just to use rate to keep that going. We're going to go until we finish this. I don't know how long it's going to take. All right. Let's keep going. So, again, don't underestimate these rate and frequency questions, and look at the observation period and how much that varies to nail these down. Okay, we're going to move on with duration. Duration's a little bit more straightforward. We're looking at the time from the beginning to the end of the response. The utility behind this is that we're going to use it when how long the behavior occurring is relevant. And most of the time, this is going to be for behaviors that vary in duration. So we saw like if the behavior can vary very significantly in duration, then we'll want to use duration to capture that. So, for example, if a behavior can last like 1 minute, between like 1 minute long and 30 minutes long, great situation to use duration for. All right, let's talk about latency. Latency, again, is the time from the onset of a stimulus to the beginning of a response. So remember, this is any stimulus, not just an SD. So this could be a prompt, this could be an MO, it could be an S delta, it could be an SD, it could be a presentation of a reinforcer, etc., etc. So make sure you get that down. As far as the utility behind it, again, also kind of straightforward. So use it either when a behavior is occurring too quickly or too slowly to a cue. Here are some examples. Let's say like your client is slow to respond to an instruction. We can capture that latency and try to shape it up. Let's say people are slow to push the gas pedal after green. Like if I'm like behind a car and it turns green, like I usually do a counter like 1, 2, 3. If they don't start moving by then I honk them. So I'm kind of like shaping up their latency of like paying attention. I know my biggest pet peeve too is, especially if I see they're on their phone, I'm just getting so mad at them. I don't really get that mad often, but like that irritates me for sure. Also, when like this would be a situation where they're responding too quickly. Let's say you tell a kid to like, hey, wait 5 minutes and then let me know something, and then they respond in 2 minutes. Then we want to track that latency and try to shape that over time. All right. So latency is working too fast or too slowly in response to a cue. Okay, let's go ahead and compare this with inter-response time. Inter-response time, definition once again, is the time from the end of one response to the beginning of the next. Usually when we're talking about inter-response time, we'll report it as an average IRT. There is a relation to frequency. We talked a little bit about this earlier, where the number of IRTs plus 1 equals frequency. So, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's look at like the green dots on this calendar here. So each green dot's going to be an instance. So we've got here our next green dot's at 11. We've got one at 20. And we've got one at 21. So between these, we have 3 different IRTs. So we have the difference between 11 and 1 is going to be 10 is our first IRT. We have the difference between 20 and 11. 9 is going to be our second IRT. And then we have 1 here where it's 20 to 21. So in this one, we had 4 instances of the behavior with 4 green dots, but 3 IRTs. So our formula works here. We have 3 IRTs plus 1 got us our frequency, which was 4. So cool little connection there. If we wanted to get the average IRT of these, then what we would do is we would add the IRT values together and then divide by the IRTs. So we would do 10 plus 9 plus 1. And then we would get 20 divided by 3, and we get 6 2/3. Or 6.67. So that's how we would calculate it. We would just take that straight up average. And what we would say is that there's approximately 6.7 days in between as our average IRT. I know, sorry. Not a lot of math people here, just blown away with the math. So yeah, to get this average again, we just took a simple mean. So we added the values together. We divided it by 3 instead of 4 because we wanted to divide it by number of IRTs. Sorry, my handwriting's so terrible. It's like even worse on a computer. So we divided it by the number of IRTs. And then, so we did 20 divided by 3, which is our number of IRTs. And we got this 6 2/3. Yeah, IRT is a fairly common measurement to be used for sure. Yeah, again, this the relation to frequency is number of IRTs plus 1 equals frequency. So we saw like we had 3 IRTs. We had the 10, the 9, and the 1. And then we added 1. So we did 3 plus 1, got us our frequency. And our frequency was how many green dots there are. So we had 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our formula worked. Calculating average IRTs can definitely be on your test. No, so I wouldn't skip out on it. I wouldn't skip out on it. Usually, like as far as the utility, we'll look at it like when the time between the behavior is relevant. It also tells us a little bit more info than rate. So like if I know like where these IRTs are, like we had an IRT of 10 days, 9 days, and 1 day, it shows us like, hey, like this short IRT over here was what is kind of interesting, where if we only had rate, it would just be like 4 per month. So the IRTs give us a little bit more like in-depth information about where the behavior is occurring, which is kind of cool. You can also calculate an IRT from a rate. So let's say we have like a rate of like, let's say we have 10 per hour. We can also calculate the IRT here, but what we'll do is we'll take 10 divided by, or sorry, we'll take 60 minutes divided by 10, and then we can get our average IRT of 6 minutes. So that's another way to calculate IRT is if you already know the rate, you can just kind of switch the units and get the average time in between each. So this would be our average IRT would be 6 minutes. So it's a little bit easier when you have a rate, actually. One great utility for IRT is it's really useful for setting interval-based procedures and setting those criteria. So if you're doing something like an NCR or a DRO schedule, really useful to know that average IRT. For let's say like we wanted to set a DRO and we had this like average IRT of 6 minutes. What we usually want to do is we want to undercut that a little bit. So we would undercut it at like 5 minutes. So they're likely to contact that reinforcer later. Yeah, somebody asked about IOA. Should you know that for the exam? Yep, you should. There's definitely get a question or a couple questions on there. I wouldn't say it's the highest priority thing, but you should know those. We've got a video on YouTube, and there's even better videos in the Beastslayer course that go over some IOA practice. So check those out if you want to really nail those down. Yeah, if you're using it for rate, you kind of just want to like switch the units around. So if we know it's like 10 per hour, then we know it's like an hour is 60 minutes. So we take that 60 minutes divided by 10, which was how the rate or that frequency in the hour, and then we get average of 6 minutes in between. We should do like equals. Sorry, I've made a mess out of this screen, guys. So yeah, that's IRT. Pretty useful. We also have percentage of occurrence. Percentage of occurrence is most useful, first of all, definition is if we have, we take the number of times that a behavior occurred divided by number of opportunities for the behavior. For the utility behind this, we'll use it whenever the opportunity for the behavior is highly relevant to the behavior. Kind of sounds like a little bit of a mess, but we'll give us some examples to help iron that out. Let's say that like I took the BCBA exam and I got 175 questions right. And it'd be like, oh my God, Nick, that's amazing. That's like all the questions. And then I tell you, I took the BCBA exam 5 times. And then it's like, oh, well, this is no longer impressive. Because 175 out of 175, that's really impressive, but 175 out of like almost 1,000, not so impressive. It's like worse than chance. So that in that case, like the opportunity for the behavior is highly relevant for the behavior, where it's not just the frequency, but it's how many opportunities you were provided that makes it important. So when we're looking at accuracy examples, that opportunity for the behavior is really important. We're looking at number of responses, number of correct divided by the number of questions given. So again, like 10 out of 10 is really great. 10 out of 100, not so great. If we look at darts, here's a couple different ways we can look at that. So it'd be number of bullseyes divided by number of darts thrown. So it'd be like, hey, I hit a bullseye on like 15%. It'd be like, all right, that's like pretty good, I think. But if you're a darts player more like me, you might look at number of darts that hit the board divided by number of darts thrown. And, you know, if I can get over 50% on the board, like that's a win for me. I'm not very coordinated with darts. So looking at, once again, that opportunity for the behavior is highly relevant for the behavior. If that's the case, we should use percent of occurrence. If you're in the Beastslayer course, I made a really cool graphic to outline when you should use each continuous measurement procedure and each discontinuous measurement procedure. But I think those graphics are too cool to share, so it's going to be reserved for Beastslayers only. They're also available for download in the Beastslayer course to hold on to. All right, let's do another question. Test your skills on these. You want to take data on a client's free operant tacting. Of the following, which would be the most appropriate to use in this situation? What do you think? You had a question, would percentage be used for replacement skill usage? Not too sure what you're referring to. So like how often you use the replacement skill over like replacement and the behavior? Or like opportunities for the behavior? Maybe. Really, you just want to look at if that opportunity is relevant to the behavior. All right, I'm liking where the answers are going. Looking good, crew. Yeah, okay, I see you, Aiden. That could work. See, that's why those rationales are so important. As soon as, like, somebody provide their rationale and they change their mind, they're like, wait, that's not quite right. Those rationales are so important. They'll help you catch your own mistakes, too. They really will. Okay. Answer's looking really good here, crew. Best answer is A. We're going to use count. So free operant acting behavior, we're just looking at how many times this is occurring. It's going to be the most relevant thing. We don't have a specified period of time, and we only have a single observation period, so count is better than rate, even though rate was not an option. We wouldn't use percentage because we're looking at free operant and not queue acting here. Latency is also not relevant because we're not looking at it like from like presentation of a stimulus. IRT, we could maybe use it, but I think it just kind of complicates things. Like, I think it just complicates things and doesn't really tell us as much info. So count is going to be our best answer. Nice job on that one. We don't need to use rate because we only had one observation period. Yeah, Julian's asking, in our materials, do we offer rationale for each question and materials you offer? Yes, absolutely. So all of our mock exams have very detailed but succinct rationales. They're not like too over, like they don't like over explain. They explain just as much as you need, but they'll tell you why each answer is incorrect as well as why it's correct. Kind of like how I just outlined this one. Like count is correct because this, percentage not great because this, latency is not as great because this, etc. So yeah, we offer that in all of our materials because identifying why each answer is incorrect is almost just as important. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's all for our continuous measurements. We're going to move into our discontinuous measurements. Remember, our discontinuous measurements, they estimate data through interval recording. The main purpose is that they ease the job for our data collector. So it's a lot easier to take discontinuous measurements than continuous measurements. And they create measurement artifacts, which again is a misrepresentation of the data due to the way that they are that the data are collected. Yeah, Jillian, 81 is great. It's like that's our guaranteed pass mark. So you're grooving, Jillian. Okay, here are some features that relate to all of our discontinuous measurements. All of them are going to be splitting our sessions up into equal intervals. So we might have all 1 minute intervals or all 10-second intervals or all 30-second intervals, for example. There is some exception with momentary time sampling that it's not always the same, but it kind of depends. Each interval is going to be marked as an occurrence or a non-occurrence. So usually this is a plus or a minus. The amount of the behavior in each interval is not as relevant. We only want to look at does it meet that criteria or not. For our data, we're going to report these as percentage of occurrence. We'll take that measurement by doing the number of intervals that the behavior occurred divided by the number of intervals that were observed. So again, each interval that's observed is an opportunity for it to occur. So percentage works really well there. Alrighty. Let's start with our partial interval recording. In partial interval recording, we'll mark an occurrence if the behavior occurs at any point in the interval. The artifact that it tends to create is that it tends to overestimate behavior. So for example, let's say we have an interval and the behavior occurs for 1 second, but this is a 1 minute interval. What we do is that we mark this interval as a plus. And essentially what that means is that we're marking it as if the behavior occurred for the entire interval. So it essentially says like, yeah, the behavior occurred for 1 minute, even though it only occurred for 1 second. So it tends to overestimate that behavior. Let's say like the behavior occurred 4 times in here. Same kind of thing. It's going to overestimate this because it's like it occurred for 4 seconds, but we say it occurred for 1 minute is our overestimation. The utility behind partial interval recording, it does require constant observation. It's pretty much good for any problem behavior. There's not many limitations to that. But it can also be used for low rate skill acquisition behavior. So if it's a behavior we're trying to increase but doesn't really occur very often, then partial interval recording can track those increases over time. So yeah, and once again, here's the utility behind it. So you can use for any problem behavior, or you can use it for low rate skill acquisition behavior. Either situation works. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to look at these observations. We've got 3 different observations, and what we have here is that whenever the line is occurring, this means that the behavior is occurring. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at all 3 of these. How many intervals would we score for each one? So give me an answer in all 3 of these in one answer. So how many we would score for 1, 2, and 3 using partial interval recording? Yeah, a couple of questions in chat. Aiden's asking, do you think it's better to finish the mini mocks first and then do Beastslayer, then go back to the mini mocks? She tests in June. My recommendation, like if you're going for the Beastslayer, I would do the Beastslayer first and then test with the mini mocks, because the mini mocks are really tough, but the Beastslayer will prepare you adequately for the mini mocks. So I would do Beastslayer then mini mocks if you have both. Seems like you have time too if you're testing in June. You got time for both of those. Yeah, we had a question. We use this for duration behaviors. We want to decrease because it overestimates duration. So like, it doesn't matter if it's a short behavior and we would use frequency normally. We can use partial interval too. That's fine. Yes, Aiden, you're going to love it. I promise. Again, the question we're looking at is how many intervals would we score for partial interval... Sorry, I can't talk. Partial interval recording for each of these observations. So give me 1, 2, and 3 in one answer. And then Anita's asking, can you explain the low rate skill acquisition thing again? Yeah, so if a behavior is not occurring very often, let's say like kid never raises his hand in class, partial interval recording is still going to track if that behavior is occurring, and it's going to show us the increases over time. So it's still a valid measurement because it captures a relevant dimension of the behavior. It's going to show us if it's increasing or not. Sorry guys, I'm like a little congested and my voice is dying. So I'll make it through here for you guys, but I'm dying a little bit, not gonna lie. Maria, that's funny. Or the ponytail guy. That's all I know is the ponytail guy. All right, some great answers in chat, crew. Keep it up. Okay, let's go ahead and review. For our first interval, we've got 5 intervals we would score as an occurrence, or 50%. So let's go ahead and check those out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 we'll score here. The rest of these don't have anything in them, so we won't score those. Observation 2 is going to be 9. We see behavior occur in each interval. This one just has a little bit, but we'll still count it. If it's occurring for the entire interval, we'll still count it too. And then this is the only interval that we'd mark as a minus. So the rest of these are good to go. We'll have 9. And our last one, we have all 10, at least a little bit of behaviors occurring in each one of these intervals. Looking good, looking good. Let's talk about whole interval recording. With whole interval recording, you mark an occurrence if the behavior occurs for the entire interval. The measurement artifact that this creates is it tends to underestimate behavior. So if we look at an interval now, let's say like behavior occurs for like 90% of this interval, we're still going to mark it as a minus, which counts as a 0. So even though this was like a 1-minute interval and it occurred for like 58 seconds, we're still marking it as a 0, as if the behavior didn't occur at all, which creates that underestimation. The utility, it's good for me. It does require constant observation. A lot of people just think like, hey, this is good for behaviors targeted for increase, but there's actually more to it. It's used for skill acquisition behaviors that we want to occur continuously. Don't forget this part. So like, for example, like I wouldn't use this for hand raising, because like I don't want to see my kid hand raising for minutes at a time. It's just like not appropriate. So even though this is a skill acquisition behavior, I would not use whole interval recording for it because it's not a continuous behavior. So this would be more about behaviors that would be like that we'd want to see occur continuously, like activity participation, if it's like silent reading, if it's like on task with something. Those are better behaviors for whole interval. So if you only have partial increase, whole decrease, just throw that out. It's not as useful as you would think. There are exceptions to both. Yeah, sitting in your chair, totally cool for whole interval. I know, don't say B is saying the first time seeing this info. Like I said, it's so frustrating. I feel like nobody teaches measurement right, and everybody gets this stuff wrong. So, come to the light at understanding behavior. We've got the good goods for you. All right, we're gonna do the same exercise, but now we're looking at whole interval recording. Give me how many intervals would we score for each of these observations in one answer? Yeah, love it, Maria. Yeah, if you go back and like go take the Beat the Beast after this measurement presentation, you're gonna do so much better on these, I promise. All right, answer's looking good so far. I'll give you a little bit longer to wrestle with it. Yeah, the dots just kind of show shorter duration behaviors. Yeah, Aiden, one thing at a time. Go back and watch IRT. I think you'll get it after another repetition. Or watch it in the Beastslayer course too. You'll nail it. Oh yeah, Aaron, that would definitely be confusing. Yeah, a number of intervals or percentage is cool here. We've got 10 total intervals. We do lives. I do the YouTube lives every Thursday. And then we have Monday and Wednesday groups as well. Those are on Zoom in our Power Preppers group. Next week we have Amber taking over for Crystal. Crystal's taking a week off for spring break. And then Molly will be on Monday. All right, let's go ahead and check these out. Our first one is going to be a fat 0. So remember, we need to see the behavior occur for the entire interval, and we only see these short duration behaviors, and it does not occur for the entire interval anywhere. So fat 0. Observation 2, we've got 5. Let's go ahead and count these out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we want to see the behavior occur for the entire interval. A couple of these were close, but no cigar. We'll still count this as a minus. Our last one is going to be 4. We can count these out as well. 1. This one was so close. Not quite, though. 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, if you want to join the Zoom study groups, what you can do is either join us in the Power Preppers group on Facebook. Also, if you're on the shop, what you can do is if you click this and put your email in here, we send out an email every Monday that has the links to all the study groups going on too. So either way, if you're on Facebook, you get you get the notifications a little bit faster, but if you're on our email list, you'll still get the links to them. Yep. All right. Yeah, here's the link for the shop, and I'll put the Power Preppers link in a sec too. All right, let's talk about momentary time sampling. With momentary time sampling, we're marking occurrence if the behavior occurs at the end moment of each interval. So we'll look at that very end of the interval. Is the behavior occurring or not? If it is, we'll mark it as a plus. If not, we'll mark it as a minus. This one, it does create an artifact, but doesn't consistently create either one. So sometimes it overestimates and sometimes it underestimates behavior. The utility, really nice thing about momentary time sampling is it doesn't require constant observation from the data collector. So this frees up a lot of time for our data collector, which is really great. The only limitation to momentary time sampling is that it can't be used with short duration behavior. So if a behavior is really short, like if we're looking at like punching, for example, we would not want to use this because it's just not very likely to get captured. Let's say like we have a 1 minute interval and like kid punches like 5 times here. Well, this is going to mark as a minus, and it's like it's just not going to be very sensitive, and it's not very likely that one of these punches is going to end up at the exact end of the interval. So we're not going to use this with short duration behaviors. Monday and Wednesday sessions are free. You just join up. You can use this for either flexible, it's very flexible for either skill acquisition or problem behavior. Again, this is the only limitation, is we're not going to use it with short duration behavior. Okay. We're going to do the same exercise for observation, for these observations using momentary time sampling. So look if the behavior is occurring at the end of the interval. If it is, we'll mark it as an occurrence. If not, then we won't. So how many intervals will we mark as an occurrence for each of these? This is going to be our last thing for tonight. We'll do one more quick giveaway at the end. Thanks for sticking with me through this presentation. And yeah. We'll do one more giveaway just for fun. Yeah, so look at the behavior. If the behavior lines like overlap with the interval lines, that's what you want to look at essentially. All right, a little bit messier on this one. All right, answer's looking pretty solid overall. Okay, let's check it. For observation 1, we've got a fat 0. So for this one, none of these behavior lines end up on our interval lines. This one might have looked close. If you're on like a phone or a small device, you might not have seen if it is on there or not. This one is a 0. It is not on that line at all. Nowhere at the end of the intervals. Let's check our second one. We've got 8 for this one. We can go ahead and catch it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 out of 10 or 80% looks good for that one. Our last one, we've got 9. Let's go count these out. We've got 1, 2. Not this one is not occurring. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it is occurring at the end of that very last interval. So we've got 9. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're gonna skip that question because I'm tired. But thank you guys so much for coming. Definitely check out the Beastslayer course. Once again, if you want to get that free offer, make sure you just add the bonus item to your cart so you can get Beat the Beast 1, 2, or the Fluency package absolutely for free with your purchase this month. We're going to drop our ethics tomorrow. I wanted to drop assessment tomorrow too, but I think I'm going to need to use the weekend to finish that up. So apologize if you're really waiting for assessment, but it's probably not going to come until Sunday. But I will have ethics out for you tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be enough to hold you over for the weekend at least. Yeah, definitely check out the Beastslayer course. There's so much content in here. I thought it was going to be like 13 hours of video total, but right now we have 5 sections released and there's already 12 hours released. So I think we're shooting for upwards of like 17 hours of these videos. There's 65 activities, and it's really, I'm confident this is going to be the only thing that you really need to nail down the real exam. As promised, we'll do one more giveaway. So for this giveaway, we'll make it, if you win, you can choose any of these 4 products. So you can get either of the Beat the Beast mocks, the Fluency questions, or the mini mocks, whatever you're feeling for this one. We'll do a number, we'll tighten it up. We'll do 1 to 500 for this one. So you can go ahead and throw a number into chat. Whoever is closest gets to choose which product they want. Maria's asking, do we have a money back guarantee if you don't pass? I'm like so torn. I'm almost ready to put a money back guarantee on it, but I kind of want to collect a little bit of data. But I think there's, in the very near future, there's gonna be a money back guarantee on it. So I'm gonna say probably before your window even expires, like your Beastslayer window expires, there's gonna be a money back guarantee on it. So I'm gonna say probably. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this and had fun. I know I've had a rough week, but I'm dying. But I love showing up for you guys, and it always brightens my day up a little bit. Like, wasn't like totally feeling it like coming into the stream, but it was totally worth it. I'm glad you guys took so much out of tonight's session. So thanks for being here. Yeah, 1 guess per person. Multiple guesses will be disqualified. Sorry, Casey. Yeah, we do these study sessions every Thursday. Will you still have to read Cooper if you purchase the Beastslayer? I think you can throw your Cooper away. Honestly, I didn't study Cooper at all. I don't think I even owned the Cooper book when I took my BCBA exam. If that says anything. So I don't believe in Cooper. It's okay. It's an okay resource. I really don't love a lot of things in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw our number. We've got 23, a low one. Oh, we got Marved at 18. Oh, Courtney Catchings 22. Oh my gosh. I don't think anybody's gonna beat that. Courtney Catchings 22 out of 23 out of 500. One off. That's amazing. Yay! All right. We're definitely giving it to Courtney. Congratulations. Shoot me an email. Let me know which prize you'd want. You can pick any of these 4 products. Beat the Beast 1 or 2. Mini Wax or Fluency. Send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com and we'll get you set up. Congrats. Yay. Of course. Congrats. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Check out that Beastslayer course if you want the only thing that you need to become a behavior master and slay this BCBA exam. And do so in a really non-aversive way. Like, who wants to really grind out those BDS modules all day? I mean, come on. It's way more fun listening to me talk. So go check out the Beastslayer if you want that thorough study tool. For next week, Monday, I think Molly just finished up ethics, so she's moving into assessment next week. Amber is taking over for Wednesday because Crystal's gone next week. So she's going to take a poll for a topic. So if you're in our Power Preppers group, you can vote for which topic you want. Aiden, mini-mocks ever questioning if I learned anything in school. Yeah, those mini-mocks, they're tough, but they'll teach you for sure. Yeah, Ibel, thank you for the affirmation there. It is fun to listen to me talk. Thank you. All right, you guys are a hoot. Thanks so much for coming tonight. Check out the Beastslayer course. I am out for tonight. Here's the link for the Power Preppers group. It's on Facebook. And yeah, that's all for now. I'll catch you guys next week. Take care. Have a good one.